I cannot believe what we're witnessing with this New York Rangers team, as this team is literally making NHL history for all the wrong reasons. And in one of the most confusing starts to a season that I can remember in the history of the NHL, we're going to break down exactly why Rangers fans are so hot and cold with this team to start the year, much like the team itself and the coaching staff. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we get into all of that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button, as 72% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your New York Rangers, this channel is built for blue shirt fandom, and it is a place to be for all your daily New York Rangers content. So go down below, hit that free subscribe button, and again, you get to stay up to date with everything going on with the blue shirts. But let's get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is such a hot and cold team. I don't know what to make of this season so far. It's unbelievable. There's some road games that they look unbelievable, and they have not yet in 7 games won a home game. And not only that, they've been shut out in 5 of them. 5 games at home that they have been shut out. You can see this from David Pagnotta. The New York Rangers have now lost all 7 games at home so far this season, and they've been shut out 5 of the 7 times. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not normal. This is far from normal. They've been shut out 5 of 7 times. They have, I believe it's 7 goals. Actually, it might be 6 goals on home ice this season, and 5 of them come in 1 game against the San Jose Sharks. It is unbelievable. There is nothing that I can put this to anymore. We used to look at, a couple of games ago, the advanced analytics and say, okay, and I made a video about this last week actually. You look at the advanced analytics and you go, okay, things should turn around. All of these signs are pointing to things will turn around and they'll start to get lucky again. Well, we have a substantial sample size at this point. It hasn't happened. And I talked about this in a video last week, like I just mentioned. At what point do you say, okay, cool, it should turn around? Where the heck are the results? There's no results so far, especially on home ice. It's unbelievable. Like I mentioned, there's been a couple road games, like a handful of road games this year where this team looks unbelievable. And then you can't win a single, not only can you not win a single game on home ice so far, you can't score on home ice. The Rangers have just tied a franchise record for games at home where they were shut out, and this is from Statboy Steven, were shut out with 5. That is a franchise record for how many times you've been shut out at home in a season. They've tied it. It is November 8th. We are not even halfway through November, and they've tied that franchise record. Now, they could go the rest of the year without being shut out at home, and we'll have a good laugh about it, right? But the way this is going, they haven't even sniffed a goal on home ice in the last little while. And in these games where they've been shut out, you have a feeling after the first period, it's not happening. You already have that feeling. It was only that one game against San Jose where you're like, okay, cool, this is awesome. We're back. And they were simply put not back. Now, here's the thing for me, and where it gets a little bit frustrating now, because I think JT Miller, the captain, the mouthpiece, for this team, much like Mike Sullivan, was speaking out earlier this season saying, let's not make this into a bigger thing than it is, right? It's just unlucky. We're going to get back on track. Hey, everyone out there, look at the advanced analytics. I was talking about it on the channel. Look at the advanced analytics. They'll be back soon. They'll be fine, right? Well, we now go live to the captain for his thoughts on the situation. It sucks. Thanks, JT. Thank you for your thoughts. That's all he had to say about this after the game. Of course, he elaborated a little bit, but that's what he's summing this up to at this point. Thanks, Captain. It sucks. Now, if you go to Mike Sullivan and also I wanted to bring up JT Miller's stats so far this year, because you would forget that this player, and I mean, I've been very complimentary of JT, almost no negativity about JT whatsoever since he became a New York Ranger. But you almost forget at times this season, and maybe it's the weight of being the captain, that this player 2 years ago was a 100-point player. You almost forget it because he has 8 points in 15 games, and you're relying upon this guy to put up points. When you look up and down the lineup at this Rangers team, we'll get into some quotes in a second, who is going to do all the goal scoring? We've talked about it. Probably Panarin, who looked good in the last game. Didn't do anything tonight. Didn't score, right? Maybe it's Zibanejad. Are you really relying upon him to score goals for you? Will Cooley has to score at least 30 goals this year for this team to make the playoffs. At least. Is that who you're relying upon? It's not Connor Sheary, I'll tell you that. Noah Laba, you're relying on a rookie? Look up and down this lineup right now. I know you're missing Vincent Trocheck. Are you relying on Vincent Trocheck to score you goals? Have you ever relied on Vincent Trocheck to score you goals? They're in tough. They're in tough. You're relying upon a guy like JT Miller to score you some goals, and Lafreniere, who looked good in the last game against Detroit. But again, you show up empty-handed in this game at home yet again. Now, the 2025, this is from Snark Messier, 2025-26 New York Rangers are easily the most confusing professional sports team I've ever seen. Absolutely dumbfounded at this point. There's nothing I can liken this to. There's nothing I can look at in terms of home ice and why they're not scoring on home ice and be like, oh, it's because of this. You can't. I don't understand it anymore. I've been looking at all the advanced analytics, certain pairings, who should be playing with who, and I've been talking about it on the channel in terms of defense. We could look at the goaltenders, whatever it is. Igor, and you can talk about the goaltending. Igor can't score goals. Please score a goal for this man. A goal. That's all we're asking for at this point. They can't do that. If you don't score one goal, you're not going to win any games. You can see this. The New York Rangers, from Statboy Stevens, are 20 minutes away from getting shut out for a fifth time. This was before the game even ended. They ended up getting shut out for the fifth time in only their 16th game. Only 5 teams who were shut out more times in 16 games to start the season, all in an era where you are not allowed to pass the puck forward. All of these, look at this. Look at this table. These are the teams, the top 5 above the New York Rangers in this specific category. You weren't allowed to pass the puck forward when this happened. I don't even know what to say about that. The silence is deafening. Now, JT Miller, to get to that, back to that, a lot of people were dumping on him last night because he slammed his stick, right? After the empty net goal because he's frustrated. I would argue, instead of slamming your stick and being frustrated there, get frustrated and start scoring some goals. Start driving the net, driving plays. Maybe yell at a teammate or two. I don't know. Maybe that didn't go over well in Vancouver. I don't want to bring that up. But maybe start, channeling that into the play on the ice and do something to rile these guys up. What is it going to take? Is it going to take JT Miller fighting? Maybe somebody needs to fight in the next game, right? You can't lose to the Islanders like that on home ice. You can't lose to the Islanders like that on home ice and not score a goal. What is it about this season on home ice? I don't know if there's, let me know in the comments. I don't know if there's anything you can actually point towards and go, this is the reason why at this point. This is absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't even point to anything specific. And then when you look at, the advanced analytics, when you look at the impact score charts for certain games, like the one against Detroit, it's obvious. Panarin's at the top. All these guys are at the top. They're putting in goals. In a game like this, where you're not scoring, how is your best player Will Borgen? How is your second best player Carson Soucy, Johnny Brodzinski, right? Like Mika Zibanejad. You need better play overall, even if you're not scoring from some of these other guys. You need to make some type of an impact. Your top players. And they're not doing that. They're middling around the middle or at the bottom. Your first defense pairing at the bottom tonight. They've been good. I can't dump on them. And I'm not trying to dump on them in terms of this. But what is it? We are literally, and I cannot believe what we are witnessing with this New York Rangers team this year. I couldn't believe my eyes. I could not believe my eyes, even though I have every reason to so far this season, when I realized in the middle of that game last night that they were going to get shut out again. I couldn't believe it. But for some reason, I couldn't believe it, right? You know what I mean? But anyway, insane start to this season. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. We are witnessing NHL history with this Rangers team for all the wrong reasons.